Hi, this is Sid Duran from Valora, and you're at Popularity.
Did you ever feel unsure of the direction that you wanted to take your music in with the album?
Not with the album. I think by the time I was writing for this first record, I was pretty settled in on the rock genre for myself.
Looking back to the beginning when you had the vision for the album, has the album turned out the way that you envisioned it at all?
It's actually, I think after getting, the right producer and the right songs together, it was more magical than I thought. And I'm not just saying that because it's my record. I think something happens when you put your whole self into a project like this, and it actually surprised me listening to it all the way through. It really tells a story, something that I wasn't even prepared to share with the listener in the beginning. So, I was kind of surprised by how much of myself is put into this album, but I'm really happy with it.
You've received a lot of praise so far. Even without the album being released, you're getting a lot of praise. What do you attribute that early success to?
I think having a really good team around me. I have great management and really great band members. They're very supportive. So I think everybody's working really hard to, get some attention for Valora. I think if we didn't have all those people kind of working on this project with us, there's no way I could have just done that myself. So it's having a really good support team.
How important is image for you?
It's very, very important to me, especially being a girl in rock music. There's a fine line between the metal scene of music, which is, I think, a lot more people were kind of lumping us in with the metal scene, like chicks in metal and stuff like that. And I like metal music, I enjoy it, but I wouldn't call this record a metal record. So I think you see a lot of I was getting interviews on horror films and stuff like things that you would typically think go along with metal, and that's something that's fun and everything, but that's not my priority to to put myself out there in that way. And then I think there's my label is associated with Disney, so there's that whole thing. There's a lot of obstacles I have to overcome when it comes to image and stuff, and I just have to show who I am. And I don't think there's a label that I put on myself, but it's just what other people are going to see me as, and they can judge for themselves. So what's important to me is just to be who I am and not stray from that, and then people will figure it out on their own. I don't want to put something out there, and say, this is what I want you to think of me. I just want people to listen to the music, hear my voice, look at me, and just, decide for themselves what they see my image as.
How does the mindset differ going into a collaboration such as the Breaking Benjamin Blow Me Away song compared to approaching your own music? What's the difference in the mindset there?
Well, it was different because the song was already written, and in most of the sessions that I had done, I was hugely contributing to the music and the lyrics and melody. With the Breaking Benjamin song, it was something already written and already pretty popular by Breaking Benjamin fans. So my job was to listen to it and to put my own spin on it, and that's what I did. I took it home and I lived with it for a little while, and then I went to the studio with David Bendis, who produced the song, and I just added my own vocals to it, and just kind of turned out the way it did. Mm-hmm. So it was a little different because I had to work with something that was already there, that was already loved by fans. So that's why you have 50% loving it, loving the new, adding female vocals to it, and then you have the other half that's it was fine the way it was. So it's different.
With growing success and popularity, have the expectations and demands that you place on yourself changed at all?
I don't think they changed too much, but I'm learning a lot more. I'm learning what is expected of me that I didn't know before. Doing something like the 48 Hours Festival, that was an eye-opener for us as a band, because there weren't very many female-fronted bands involved in that, but it was something that we were really honored to be included in. So I think the expectation of being a new female-fronted rock band and being on a stage with bands like Korn and Godsmack, Avenged Sevenfold, bands that we love. There's like definitely a higher standard, and almost like we have to pay our respect to them by not holding anything back. Like we had to work harder than we thought we would. So I guess we're learning as we go along, and we're just excited for it.
What do you find to be the hardest part of creating music?
I don't know if there's a hardest part, but I think everybody has their own opinion of what sounds great. So when you clash with someone, especially someone you love, or a bandmate or something like that, it's difficult to sort of agree on things when the perspective is this is what's going to be great, and then the other person's no, this I know for sure, and you can't tell someone no, I know better than you, because who's to say what's actually great. So I think working together and trying to get the different personalities and different preferences for styles of music to get that all to mesh and agree with each other, that's a little bit difficult.
Working on tracks, are you ever surprised at how good they become? Are there any songs that really surprised you on this album?
The last song on the record is called Summer Stay. Now that I wrote with Alan Johannes and Natasha Schneider. And just a little bit of background on Natasha. She passed away a couple years ago, but it was actually just a few months after I had written the song with her. So that was, really tragic for us, because I just met her, and we had this strange connection, and I didn't know anything really about her. I didn't even know she was sick. So we wrote the song, and it's about somebody that you meet in the summer, and you fall in love, or you have this connection similar to what we actually had, and then they're gone, and it's not anybody's fault. And so the crazy part about that is that I didn't know she was sick. I had no idea that I wouldn't ever see her again after that. So that song has something really strange on it, and it moves you in a weird way. People that don't even know the story have said, why do I feel so weird, listening to this song? And it takes you to some emotional place. And so we put some of her vocals from the demo that we recorded when we wrote the song. We put those on the final master version of it. So it's her and I singing together. So I feel like it has something really special. And when it came out, when I listened to the final version, I was just shocked. And it's hard for me to still hear it and not get really emotional. But it's also, I'm really thankful to have that on this record.
What is your approach to discovering new sounds and ideas?
I think it was just kind of feeling out the situation, depending on which writers I was working with. One was the Matrix writing team. That was a little intimidating, because I knew, they'd worked with Avril and Britney Spears and really huge names, and some of them were big pop artists, and I knew I was gonna have to inform them that I wasn't a pop artist. I wanted to be, something new and raw. So that was a little difficult, but I think that's when I started to learn, to feel out the situation and see where their heads are at, and then, let them know what I'm thinking. And you have to just speak up, because, if you don't, and you're in these sessions with the really amazing A-list songwriters, they're just going to suck you in. So if you want to make it original and make it true to who you are, you have to really speak up. So I think that, really not holding back my ideas or anything like that, that was something that I used to help me really write the lyrics that I wanted to write. And another thing was, when I wrote with Carrie Diaguardi, we wrote this song called Forgotten, and when I had walked into the session, I wasn't prepared to share about this really ugly breakup and how I was dealing with it and all that. I didn't even think that was going to come out, but she somehow pulled it out of me. So I think being really honest is another approach.
How did you, when you had a collection of songs, knew that this was the album?
I wrote for over a year. So there were over 100 songs that accumulated by the end of it. And it was pretty easy to pick the 11. They were just ones that were my favorites, the ones that I enjoyed listening to over and over again, and the ones that told the stories that I wanted people to hear. So it wasn't like, oh, I can't choose between these two. It was just pretty easy, actually. They just it was mostly like I Waited for You already before the record sale, before anything like that. So that was basically the standard for the rest of the album. And then the other songs were written toward the end of the writing process. So all the ones in the middle kind of just filtered themselves out.
What artistic growth do you feel that you experienced throughout their creation process?
I think that before the writing process and figuring out what was going on the album and everything, I wasn't used to collaborating with other people. I was a solo artist. I played acoustic guitar, in every coffee shop and every club and bar that I could get into. So I was used to doing things on my own, and because I had to, I always wanted a band and I wanted to collaborate with other people, but it just wasn't available to me at the time. So I think that I grew as far as being a writer who could write with other people and collaborating with band members, stuff like that. And also the live performance has grown in that way because I didn't have a band. It was me behind the guitar, so I could only use a mic stand. So now that I have the full band, I think I've kind of transformed into an actual front person, because I don't think being the lead singer necessarily makes you the front person of a band, but I feel like that's what I've become after this whole process.
Mm-hmm. And do you have any final thoughts or anything that you'd like to say to the Readers of Popularity?
Just if you like what you hear, if you like Valora music, then our entire record comes out April 3rd this year, and I'm really excited for everybody to hear it.